to speak about financial and strategic buyers and their differences. All right, this is not fluff. This is the reality. This is internal data. This is our experience. So we are currently witnessing unprecedented demand for home health agencies across the United States. I can tell you specifically, from September of 2021, on average, we are seeing a 50 to 75% increase in the amount of qualified buyers that are expressing interest in the companies that we are bringing to market. Now, why is this important? More buyers obviously materializes into more offers. That helps us negotiate from a position of strength when we're in a process. And to Andre's point, right, that outlier bid, it raises the probability of us realizing and attracting that outlier bid. Okay, so types of buyers, strategic, very simply, think of a larger home health company. On a regional level, maybe it's your competitor, someone slightly larger than you that is acquiring and using acquisitions as a way to grow their market share. On a national level, think of companies like Amedisys, Addus, LHC Group that was just acquired by Optum. These are public companies that are highly acquisitive out there looking to grow their market share, right? Their revenue, their census. You know, we spoke now about the labor pool, right, and the importance of staffing. And look, I don't want to make light, we talk about market share, I don't want to make light of profitability, right? Profitability still has importance, and profitability to a strategic buyer is just as important as it is to a financial buyer. But the reality is, when a strategic acquires your company, shortly thereafter, that business or your business is more profitable to that strategic company. Why? Very simply, economies of scale. Being larger has its benefits in terms of acquisitions. Being able to drive profitability very quickly is one of them. So it used to be that 3 or 4 out of 5 companies we sold were acquired by strategic buyers. It also used to be that strategic buyers would pay more for an acquisition, the clients we represented. Now, think back to 4 or 5 slides ago, we're seeing new investment, right? We're seeing new money, new capital, the financial world really getting excited about the healthcare industry, more so than ever before. And that's literally flip-flopped. And again, I'm telling you that from real experience. Now, when we talk about financial buyers, there are really 3 types, or at least 3 types that we come in close connection with. The first, and which we'll focus on today, is private equity. The second are what's called independent sponsors. And the third are what's called a search fund. Again, we're solely going to focus on private equity. If there are questions about independent sponsors or search funds, feel free to come up thereafter. So when you hear the word private equity, or when you think of private equity, I want you to think of a company that's sitting on a committed fund. Essentially committed capital in a bank that is waiting to be invested. And yes, the idea for those investors is to turn a profit, hopefully a significant profit. Now, there's been a lot of stigma behind private equity groups, and we're going to get into that we'll get into that in more detail 2 or 3 slides down the line. And look, we're not private equity advocates, but I can tell you from our experience, there are advantages of selling to a private equity group. The staffing model. These aren't necessarily people that are in healthcare. They need you. They need your leadership. They need your teams to help grow the company exponentially for whatever their holding period is, which is usually on average 5 to 7 years. After that 5 to 7 year point, they'll essentially engage in another financial or another significant financial event, and something that we call a recapitalization. And I'm going to sound very cliche, but a recapitalization, I'll explain what that is, essentially allows you a second bite at the apple. So some private equity groups allow our clients to hold on to a minority interest position in their companies. They stay employed. They really keep our clients or sellers, folks like yourselves, in your lane so you can do what you're great at, do what you excel at, get rid of all the minutia, and help the company grow exponentially, for however long their holding pattern is. As I said, it's usually 5 or 7 years. Now, in a recapitalization, a private equity group will acquire a majority interest in your company. Now, let's use 80%. I mean, 80% it's a nice round number. It is typically, what we see, sometimes 70, but usually 80% is acquired at closing, and then our clients are able to maintain that 20% for the life of the partnership, for the life until that company is resold again. And the beauty is this, and the hope is this, that 20% that you held on to for 5 or 7 years is worth the same, if not more, than that 80% you are selling today. What really compels us is what's compelling for you.